for ANI 150, and in the previous tutorials we had packed up our crate, we laid out the UV maps, we made sure that every part of our crate is inside its own little section here, and that nothing is bleeding over the tiles. We set the textile density, which is making sure that all of these pieces are consistent and that we don't have any sort of stretching or, one face taking up more space than another. That way we get a really consistent texture when we paint on this crate. So I believe we set the textile density on these to 410, which will come in handy when we do the other pieces later. I'm going to go ahead and press Control A. Well, not later. Later is now. When I press Control A, it first activates the attribute editor. You can very easily click on UV Toolkit. And then this is what I want. This is my channel box. I'm going to click off of the crate layer, and let's go ahead and take care of the handles. Okay, so handles are going to be really easy. I'm just going to grab them real quick. Ooh, look at those maps. Those are a mess. Let's go ahead and start the same way we did before, where we just throw down some UVs. So we'll do some camera-based UVs. Let me grab the UV shells. Create camera-based. There we go. So as you can see, they look in the UV editor exactly how they look over here in the perspective view, and this is not a usable UV map layout, so let's go ahead and get these taken care of. So we've basically got some cylinders. That's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with a bunch of cylinders, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to approach these cylinders by finding a place to cut a seam. Because really for the tiny cylinders that don't have end caps, that's all we need to do is click a place where we want to put a seam. And before I do that, I want to go ahead and activate my symmetry again. So I'm going to go ahead and activate symmetry on world X, so that when I grab one side, it's grabbing the other side as well, and that saves me some work. So I'm going to go up here and I'm just going to click on this, move over here, and shift click right there. And then for the seam on the main handle, I'm going to actually push something a little to the right or the inside, because you're not going to be able to see that part of the handle as readily. And then I'm just going to press Shift, make sure I'm over here, Shift X. As you can see, it has added a really nice white line that represents the cut on our cylinders. I see it on there. For some reason, it doesn't seem like it took over here on this main cylinder. Let's try that again. Shift X. Yoo-hoo! What is going on? Turn that off. Maybe Shift right click, cut. That is so strange. I wonder if it has to do with the symmetry tool not quite lining up. Shift X. Oh, I am really at a loss. Huh. Let's see what's going on here. Let's go into UV shell. Let's try unfolding this. Control U. And just like I suspected, nothing is going to unwrap because we haven't created any seams. Why is it? Whoa, something happened. Are there two meshes here? Did I duplicate something without intending to? Let's go to F8. My move tool is not showing up. Oh, right. Face. Delete. Nope. There's no secret mesh hiding there, and as you can see, there's a white edge where I cut a face out. That's so strange. Is there something like a lamina face going on here at this edge? No, everything seems fine. Alright, well, let me just try again. Click here, shift right click, cut. Huh. Maybe I need to grab these end caps as well. So let's grab those end caps. Maybe it just doesn't like, yeah, that was it. It doesn't like to have a cut in the middle of a mesh without it going somewhere. So what I did was I grabbed the outside edge of the cylinder on both sides before I did that. It's interesting. I haven't experienced that issue before. Well, I didn't have symmetry on, so I'm going to do it again over here. I'm going to just grab the edge of the cylinder, shift click that line that I wanted the cut to be in, and let's go ahead and shift click this end cap as well. Go over here and press Shift X. And now Everything is nice and cut. That's so odd. Huh. Well, whatever. We got it working now, and that's what matters. So I'm going to just go over, grab all these UV shells, and I'm going to press Control U. And that lays everything out nice and flat. I want to go ahead and orient my shells so that everything is aligning with one of the axes. I'm then going to go under my transform tool, and I'm going to scroll down to texel density, and I'm going to say set. So I ask these to be in that texel density. And now I'm going to just experiment and see if the layout tool wants to cooperate again. Go in, so packing resolution, maybe it's going to change this back, 2048, don't think that mattered. Pack together, not overlapping. Shell pre-rotation, these are the defaults anyway. You can go ahead and rotate these, I don't care. Transform. Actually, let's turn off rotate. Maybe that was causing the issue. Scale mode is off, apply. Let's see what it does. See, there it goes again. It's just made this thing huge. I don't understand why that's not working. Full square, 1-to-1, distribute, don't scale. I am at a loss. Well, let's just uniform and see if that allows it to work again. Okay, so the tool still works in its own way, but I definitely don't want the texel density to be that huge. So let's go ahead and set this back to 410. All right, and what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna pack these by hand since it's being so absurdly difficult. That is so wild. I wonder if I need to reset Maya before I record the next tutorial and see if I can get that tool to work again. When I said don't scale, it doesn't mean scale everything until it's ginormous. So I'm just packing these all into a corner because basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to have all of my miscellaneous things packed in their own tile. And I'm going to move this tile over so that it takes up its own special texture space. Now technically, I don't think it should matter intuitively. I would say it wouldn't matter that, let's press Control 1. Oh, I guess it's not Control 1 that has everything. Hold on a second. Control A. Okay, let's turn this back on. Let's dock the channel box because that's getting old. Alright, back to tool settings. Okay. So basically, when I click on this, this object has its own set of UV tiles, and technically this can go ahead and be in its own space because it's a separate mesh, but I'm going to go ahead, in case I ever want to combine these, and also because I've noticed that the baking comes out better, I'm just going to go ahead and put these in their own shell. So I'm going to grab this shell, I'm going to go ahead and, or its own tile, rather, and I'm going to go ahead and grab my move tool. Where did it go? Transform, move, step, snap, on. There we go. And let's see. The crate has 6, so I'm going to put these in the 7th tile over here. And I'm going to go ahead and turn off the step snap. And I'll go ahead and save my work so I can save periodically. And I'm just going to be putting a lot of my odds and ends, like maybe that top box, maybe, I don't know, it depends on how the straps come out, but the buckles will definitely go in this extra tile. So also, having things organized in tiles like this just makes it easy to grab certain sections of your object, kind of like a quick select tool as a way. Let's go ahead and move on to the next bit. I'm going to press Control A. Maya's going to ignore me. There we go, channel box. Let's go ahead and take care of the buckles real quick, just because these are going to fit in that nice tile as well. Actually, we don't need to necessarily turn off the visibility. We could just grab, let's go ahead and go into object mode, so that's F8. Remember, you might need to press function F8. I'm also going to delete history, because you can see there's a lot of history building up. When you lay out UV maps, it also counts as history, so I can grab everything and delete history. Also seems like there's something going on with freeze transformations. Make sure all the transformations are frozen. I didn't move anything. I think that happened when I mirrored the geometry. Sometimes when you mirror geometry, it messes with the freeze transformation setting based on the axis that you mirrored. So it's not like anything moved. All right, so let's just grab these buckles and we'll just press Control 1 instead of turning off the other layers. Go back to the UV texture tool. And let's throw down some UVs real quick. Let's go to Create, Camera Based, boom, there we go. And let's treat these like pizza boxes. So I'm just gonna go to Edge mode and I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4. Looks like I only selected 3. Did I miss one? Yep, 4. It's nice to have that poly count option. If you want this, it's under Display, Heads Up Display, Poly Count. 1, 2. This time I grabbed too many faces. 3, 4, or I meant edges. Okay, now I'm at 8. Yep. And 1, 2, 3, 4. That puts us at 12. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 16. Go over here, press Shift X, and then we can just go press F. F reframes the camera on our selection. We can do the same thing here. And I'm going to just select them, shift, or not shift right click, I don't have to do that. I can just grab it by UV shell and press Control U. And that unwraps everything. We're going to go ahead and scroll down and ask it to orient the shell nicely. Good, good. Let's go up to texel density. There it is. Let's go ahead and set that texel density so everything is nice and ready to go. And let's move these shells over here for the moment. Go over here and press Control 1. And I'm going to grab my crate and I can grab my handles. Actually, I'll just grab everything. I need to be in select mode instead of UV mode. Let's see. F8, grab everything, perfect. And I'm just going to grab the UV shells of these and move them over and pack them into this miscellaneous box. So again, if I wanted to, I could stack these, but I don't want to stack them because I may want to have unique grunge or texture on any of these. But if it was something that didn't matter, if it had a repeat texture, that could be a really fun way of saving time. See one. Let's just stack them this way. Oops. What did I just do? Did I just delete a shell? I hope not. Oh no. I think I just deleted a texture cell. Control Z. There we go. Whoops. Yeah, that's definitely not going to be great for baking normals and AO maps when you delete an object's UV coordinates. Yeah, that's not Mudbox, Substance Painter does not smile upon that. Alright, so we can go ahead and turn on the little checker boxes, and you can see it's all doing great. It's all just laying out so nicely, the nice scale there. Turn that off, and we have finished the buckles. Let's go ahead and press Control A, and let's take care of the strap next. Let's see, I may want to just turn some of these off for these straps. These straps are going to take a little bit more thought. Let's see. Select them. F8. Let's see what we got. Oh, look at that. Yeah, that's a mess. Let's go ahead and throw down some UVs real quick. Let's go create, and I want to do camera based. And let's start with these little bits here. This is going to be a little easier. So I'm just going to, looks like I combined all these. I think something I want to go ahead and do right now is shift right click, and I want to separate. And the reason I want to separate is when you are baking normal maps and AO maps, it's great to be able to explode your mesh, meaning that everything moves apart when you bake the maps and you don't end up getting like certain artifacting that can happen. Now we're not going to actually explode the mesh. We don't have to do that anymore. Once upon a time you actually had to set keys, explode your mesh, bake it, and then bring your mesh back together and apply the maps. Substance Painter has a great way of exploding your mesh without actually moving it. And we'll talk more about that later. If that's confusing you, don't let it confuse you. What's important now is that we go ahead and treat these like separate pieces. I don't want to keep them combined because they're just too close together. Unlike the buckles are plenty far apart from each other, that it doesn't matter that they're one object, but this I want to go ahead and separate now. Grab them, delete history. Let's go ahead and start with this piece here. Actually, I could do this in this mode and just grab the edges that I want to collapse. So I'm just going to go 1, oh, press Q, 2, 3, because we're just going for those corners, right? 4, 5, 6. So we got 6 selected, and then this corner down here and this corner down here. So as you can see in my viewport, I press 4, and you can see all the places that I'm cutting. I clicked approximately 8 edges. Alright, and I'm going to press Shift X. Now it's cut. Wonderful. Let's do that again over here. And I'm going to press F or Control 1. Oh, helps if you have things selected. F8 first, then Control 1. Alright, I'm going to just right click, go to edge mode, and I'm going to grab this edge and this one and this one and this one. Just sort of grabbing all these edges that I'm going to want to cut. Let's see, there it is in this view. Not as quite as easy to select as the last one, so just go here and here. So I'm just choosing all these corners that will help this lay flat. Okay, so the 2 inner corners, the 2 top corners, the 2 outer top corners, and these 2 little angles down here. And then go over here and press Shift X, and then press Control 1 so that you can reveal the rest of these. I'm going to click here, and I think this is the x-axis again. I might want to go with Symmetry again. Let's go with World X and see if this is, it's not really, oh, they're not one mesh anymore, so we can't really do Symmetry anymore. My bad. Let's go ahead and press Control 1. That's okay. We'll just take care of this. It's not like it's going to be that time consuming. Actually, I can kind of see the edges that I want to select over here. So corner, the top 2 bits, the inner corner here on each side. So that's 6, and then 7, 8. There we go. Cool. Let's zoom out and press Shift X. And there we go. Nice cut. That'll lay flat, just like cardboard. Now this is going to experience a little bit of an issue. I think you guys can kind of see what that issue is going to be. When I lay this out, this flap right here is going to cause a problem. And I'll show it to you when we unfold. Actually, you know what, let's just go ahead and unfold this one and I'll show you. That way it saves time. I'm going to grab this UV shell. I'm going to shift right click. Actually, I'm not going to press Control U to unfold. As you can see, there's a lot of stretching up here at the top because this middle portion right here has to squeeze these 2 aside. And so when I click on this button, you can see that there's now stretching in the white. And when we go over here and turn on the checkerboard, there's a bit of skewing going on over here because of the way that this is stretching. It's not ideal. So I'm going to press Control Z, and I'm going to go ahead and add an extra cut. I think these inner parts, not really things people are even going to be able to see. So let's just press Shift X, and we'll just go ahead and cut this piece off. That way, when we grab the UV shell and we press Control U, this lays out flat as we want it to, and then we have one more piece here that we can just sort of rotate and pack into place later. Okay, and this is just going to result in much nicer map output. So I'm going to go back over here, press Control 1, and I'm going to go ahead and do that to some of the other ones I've already cut. So all I'm doing is going in and grabbing the bottom of that square, and I'm pressing Shift X. And let's do that over here, grabbing the bottom of that and pressing Shift X. And then we still need to chop up this one. So let's find it on here. Let's grab its edges. 1, grab Q. 2, 3. Let's go ahead and add this one as an extra. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And now I'm going to press Shift X, and it is all cut and ready to go. Let's go ahead and press on this next one. Sudden jump cut on this. I really didn't like how the UVs were laying out with my original idea. And so I'm just going to approach this piece differently and not drag you along for the ride. So what I did was I had cut everywhere that there was a corner bending, and I had cut this portion out and that portion out, and I thought that if I just cut this here that it wouldn't overlap, but it didn't matter. It still didn't do a clean layout, so I'm going to approach this different. I'm going to start by taking off this middle section here. I still want to do that. I'm going to turn on my symmetry on the z-axis so that what I do to one side, it does to the other. And I'm going to start by grabbing this, press Q so I don't have move tool in the way, hold down shift, click, 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 click. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 edges, total of 10 because I got symmetry turned on. I'm going to go over here and press shift X, and that is going to cut that off. So I'm already starting by cutting that bit off. Next thing I'm going to do, just to keep this as simple as possible, I think what would be best is to just cut along this edge. So I'm going to turn off symmetry because I don't think it's going to benefit me at this stage. I'm going to go over here, hold down shift and double click so it grabs all of that. Click here, double click, grabs all of that. I'm just grabbing this whole edge. Click here, all the way to here, double click. Yeah, that looks great. So I'm going to go ahead and press Shift X, and I'm just, make sure you're in your UV menu when you do that. So go over here, double click, hold down Shift, double click, click, and double click, go over here and Shift X. And I think when we grab all these shells that we've created, that it's going to Control U, unfold white. Now what on earth just happened? Oh, do I have symmetry on? No, I don't. What? Oh, it's still connected. Wow, was that a surprise? Okay, Control, I'm gonna hold down Shift. I forgot to cut right here. Oh, that was weird. That was not ideal. Sorry. Okay, now let's try that again. Shift X. So we want this all to be one piece. We don't want it connected anymore. Alright, so when I grab this, yes, this will definitely work now. That was not planned. Let's go to Control U. There we go. That's more like it. Let's go to our UV toolbox. Orient the shells. Oh, that's so much nicer. And we'll just move these. Yeah, this is definitely more of what I'm looking for. And we'll worry about this bit next, like all these little pieces. We haven't applied any textile densities things. We were just testing to see if that would even lay out correctly. Let's go over here and press Control 1 and click on this piece, which we haven't addressed yet. I'm going to press F8 so we're in selection mode, and Control 1 so we've isolated this piece. We can go ahead and turn symmetry back on to World Z. So what we do on one side happens to the other. Grab this edge, hold down Q, tap Q rather. Doot, doot. So move tool is not in our way. And go over here and press Shift X. Alright, so now we could grab this by the UV shell, and when we lift it up, those two pieces are behind because they're no longer connected. Let's go ahead and grab these while we're still in symmetry mode and Shift X. There. So we definitely wanted that to be part of our selection. Let's turn off the symmetry tool up here at the top. Click here, Shift, double click, Shift, double click. Oh, I like that quite a bit actually. I'm going to just go Shift. Wait, did it go? Shift, click, and let's go all the way over here and see if it just runs down the edge. Double click. Yay, it did. Lovely. Alright, so Shift X. Let's go ahead and grab the UV shell and make sure it's looking good. It is. So when I grab all these pieces and I press Control U, it lays out. Click on Orient Shell. Yay. And now when I press Control 1 and I look at all my pieces, and then need to go into selection mode, or object mode rather. I can see everything here. I'm going to just, quickly kind of put these together just a bit. I'm not officially packing anything because we haven't assigned textile density to these yet, but I just want to know where everything is for when we do. So I'm just getting our pieces together. And then over here, these need to be unfolded. And ooh, what is this? Oh, it's part that goes to that. Okay. Let's grab these 3 that we haven't unfolded yet and press Control U. And oh, something did not work out quite right over here. So this one seems to be doing exactly what we want, Control U, which this is what I'm looking for right here. But these 2 did not unfold the way I wanted. First I'm going to grab these and I'm going to orient the shells so that they're at least, they're on the right track. Okay, and let's see what's going on with these. Let's grab the UV shell. Okay, I mean that's broken off just the way I hoped it would be. Let's go over here and press Control 1, see what's going on. What is not working here? Do not know. Let's grab these and press Control U again. Yeah, something is causing this to distort up top. And I guess it has to do with, I don't understand. This is not any different from that. Why is it unfolding so strangely? Well, que sera, let's just grab these 2 shells and create, well here, let's bring them back both on screen. It's okay, always good to troubleshoot. Create camera-based UVs. Get these both back up on the chopping block. We'll just do it again. Grab the edges. So first we're going to go in and chop out this middle, which is simple enough. Just go over here, press Shift X. And now when I grab my UV shell, this is absolutely separate from that, which is what we want. And then I'm just going to go in and grab these edges that I want. So here and here, Shift X, or helps if I'm in the right menu, Shift X. And then here and here, Shift X. And then down here, here and here, Shift X. So that should be everything I wanted to chop. Yeah, I don't see why that wouldn't work. Let's grab it. Let's press Control U. And that time it worked. And let's grab this other piece. So that's so strange. Very odd indeed. Well, let's just go ahead and do this last one. So Control 1. And we'll go in and grab 1, 2, 3. And we will go over here and Shift X. Grab that UV shell, make sure it's separated. It did. That's what we want. Okay, go into edges. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and Shift X. Go down here and click off and click here, and then right here and Shift X. UV shell, Control U. Whoa, that one also just so strange. Did not want to. What is happening with this? Really strange. I'm not sure what to make of it. Is it because of how the camera was positioned? Like, do I need to? I don't know. It's baffling, but I'm gonna try one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Shift X, UV shell, Control U. That time it worked. I don't know. I don't know. Not sure. But you know what? It's working now. And honestly, I think that's going to become your mantra when working in 3D. Why'd that happen? I don't know. It's working now. So, okay, we've got the shells all ready to rock and roll. So the next thing we need to do is grab them all and make sure that they're maintaining the right texel density. So let's go back up to the Move tool. Under the transform, there's Move, Rotate Scale, and Texel Density 410 and a 2048 set. And, ooh, that made things much bigger. Let's go ahead and start packing some of these. I don't trust the layout tool. It's acting rather odd right now, so I'm just gonna pack these myself. I'm gonna old school it. Wish I knew what was going on with that. Because usually when you turn off scaling in the layout tool, it works lovely. It does a great job. But I guess I broke it. Sorry. All right, let's see. I'm going to go ahead and finish packing these. Make sure none of them are touching and they're not bleeding outside the tile. Let's move this over. I guess it'd probably be better to rotate this. A little distance there. Cool. All right. Now these are a lot bigger than I was anticipating. Like, I think they are going to stretch outside the shell. Ooh. So there's a couple ways we could handle that. One way would be to rotate this so that it's going more diagonal. The problem with that, of course, is it takes up a considerable amount of space. Also, it's not as ideal to have things angled, in my opinion. Well, there are a couple of options. One, we could cut this in half. Like, we could actually cut the mesh itself in half so that everything fits more nicely. We could also go in and change the texel density. That's another option, so that it's not like this. I just don't like that solution, really. Let's go ahead and make these capital I's again. Maybe we could try this instead. Yeah, that'll work. Oof. Scroll down and orient that shell a little better. I like that better. So what to do about our leftovers? Yeah, we could put these in diagonally, but I think what I want to do, because it's not drastically changing the geometry, I think what I want to do is solve this, since we do have some more, we do have a little bit more in the way of polygon allowance. Because remember, we had like 800 some odd faces, and the polygon limit for this assignment was 1,000 faces. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shift right click, and I'm going to use the insert edge loop tool. And, oh, clicking the wrong thing. Double click the edge loop tools options. Whoa, it's parented up here. It's, or docked rather. I wasn't expecting the tool settings to be docked. Alright, looks like it's already set to use equal multiplier 1. Cut it there, and let's cut it on this here. And as you can see, it automatically changed those UV maps up so that they reflect the changes we just made. So we could technically take all these shells, let's grab these shells too. Let's just grab all these. And I'm not as concerned about these pieces. These pieces are the inside mouth of these latches. No one's really going to see them. We could technically stack them if we wanted to, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to put them side by side here. It's not like we're hurting for that much resolution space that we have to stack these. Cool. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go double click this edge, press Q so I know that I've got it. Okay, Shift. Grab both of these. Does it grab it through these? No, I don't think so. Oh, you know what would be easier? Let's just do this. Let's grab it here in edge mode, hold down Control, and I'm deselecting each side, so now I've got that edge loop in the middle selected. And then I'm going to press Shift X, which cuts it up. And this just gives us so much more freedom as far as how we choose to pack this. That way we're maintaining the textile density. It's not ideal to have more seams because, you know, when you're dealing with seams in normal maps, they have issues with seams. Normal maps do. So this is not as ideal as I'd want it to be as far as a cut in my piece, but just make it work. I wonder if we're going to be able to get this to work without stacking anything. I think we're going to have to stack. Yeah. I don't want to stack those though. I'm thinking, how do I want to do this? Well, I really didn't want a seam on these, so what if don't want to stack them. Oh, you know what? What if we just put these somewhere else? Like, I don't have to have them in this shell. I could put them in the other shell. So let's go ahead and go to the channel box layer and let's open up the handles, the crate, and the buckles, and we'll just select everything. Oh, right, I have to move these first. So I'm going to go to my straps, and I'm going to say select objects. And it didn't listen to me. I need to be in selection mode, object mode, there we go. And let's just right click the strap, select objects, grab the UV shells, and move these out of the way. Alright, now we can grab everything. And we can just put some of these extras over here. Like, it doesn't have to all be in one texture space. I'd prefer it to be in one texture space, but it doesn't have to be. I wonder if I got some more. Let me just try packing these a little tighter. Maybe we can get more of them in. Again, I could stack these, but when you stack them, it repeats the texture, and that's not what I want to do. I could chop them again. I can deal with more seams though. Could put them over here. Just don't like that. I don't like that idea. Oh, you know what? I have a better idea. So it's a very active and organic process. I'm going to grab this edge here. I'm going to shift right click and move and sew. And what that does is when you click move and sew, it will find the partner seam and move everything back. So now I've got these back to their original shapes. Because I really want to keep these organized so that HUDIM is controlling some specific things. So instead, what if we just go in and grab this edge and special, sound effects, yes, they absolutely help in this process. Highly recommend making noises. All right, and Shift X to cut, and let's just grab these and separate them from those. Is it ideal? No, probably not, but that's okay. Okay, so let's take these and move them over in this corner. And see if there's any other things I can do to move these. Ooh, that worked quite well. Still problematic. Getting there. Just making sure everything is packed in tight. Ooh, let's take this one and rotate it. Oh, that's too big. Damn. How else could we arrange these? Let's try taking these little bits out for now. What if we tracked, do these stack nice? Oh, they do, look at that. They stay within the tile. Lovely. Oh, this is such a better fit. Yay, there we go. Those are working nicely. And let's take the last of these bits and pieces and get them packed in there. So maybe move these down and get them together. Try and get everything over here and arranged. Okay. These are more cumbersome, so let's worry about packing these first. Yeah, I could stack them, I know, but I really don't want to have to deal with the repeated texture when I am painting. I could also shrink them, but I don't want there to be a sudden change in textile density, so I'm not going to do that either. Remember to keep a little bit of distance between the edge of the tile and each of the other shells. All right, cool. This is working. We didn't have to bleed it over into any of the other shells either. We can keep everything packed nicely into one tile. Ta-da! And this was long, so I'm going to go ahead and stop this before we go on to the final piece, which I can put into this UDIM right here.